Hey everybody, welcome to my channel. I thought today that I would come outside because it's a really pretty autumn day here, and it's a great place to practice yoga just in my own yard. For the imagery today, you guys have probably heard yoga teachers and meditation teachers talk about letting things go like the trees do in autumn. And I'm going to take a little bit different approach to that particular metaphor. There is traffic nearby, sorry. But the tree I happen to have in my yard is a sycamore tree, and sycamore trees are marcescent, which means they tend to retain dead material throughout much of the winter. So as you can see, I'm surrounded by leaves, but there are a lot of leaves left on my tree, and really the leaves fall off. Sometimes they dry up enough that they fall off. A lot of them get blown off by wind, or as we start getting snow here, or as recently we've had rain, that'll kind of knock some of them off. But a lot of these leaves will still be on this tree in spring, and they won't fall off until new growth kind of pushes them off. So a new leaf starting pushes the old things off. And while it's a really lovely thought, you know, oh, just let things go like the trees, they let things go so gracefully, knowing they no longer serve them. And sometimes we can do that. And, you know, my tree's doing a lovely job of letting some things go. But other things are a little bit harder to let go of. And sometimes it's hard to trust that something else will come and take its place, which is what happens in the natural cycle of life in autumn. You know, the tree lets leaves go, new leaves come on, it trusts that that will happen. But you know, my little sycamore tree needs proof that something better is coming, and it waits till spring to drop its leaves. And some of us need to do that too. Sometimes something better has to come along. If you think about the way it loses its leaves in the winter, sometimes we hold on to things until life makes it so hard that we can't. And that's okay too. So rather than beat ourselves up because we're having a hard time letting go of things, I think recognizing that nature has a lot of models for how we undergo death and rebirth is a nice thought. That it's okay if you hold on a little bit longer than maybe you should have. Something good will still come along and take the place of what you've been hanging on to. So with that said, we're probably going to have a little bit of a gentle flow today because, well, I'm a little bit injured. I bruised some ribs a couple weeks ago, so I'm probably not going to do a lot of twists, but this will just be a nice flow for us to kind of move in our bodies and feel through things. And maybe as we're practicing, set the intention that, you know, thinking about, is there something that you could let go of easily? Are there things that are a little bit harder that you're holding on to? And trusting that when it's time, you'll be able to let go too. So we're gonna go ahead and get started in Child's Pose. So I'm practicing outside. I welcome you to join me practicing outside, knowing that this ground is uneven, everything kind of slopes that way. And it's a little bit more of a balance challenge, but that's kind of the fun of it. So feet together, knees wide, reach your arms out in front of you. Head comes to the mat, and just begin to settle into your breath. Breathing in through your nose and out through your nose. Hands stretch wide in front of you, reaching for the front edge of your mat. As you relax in this practice and become present on your mat, I want you to let your breath expand into your belly, letting your belly just go as basically open as it needs to fill all the way up with air. Breathing out, focusing on the exhale, which creates a parasympathetic stimulation, calming us down. Let's take 2 more breaths, expanding the side body, expanding through your ribs. And on your next exhale, press yourself into a tabletop position. Hands come under the wrists. Wrists are under the shoulders. We want to inhale as we arch our backs and look up at the sky or the ceiling. Exhale, we round our back, looking at our navel, shoulders round, hands push into the ground. We're going to take about 5 cycles of cat-cow here. Inhaling as we look up, exhaling as we push the ground around away from us. One more just like that. Exhale. Come back to a neutral spine and just switch your hips and shoulders in opposite directions, stretching through that side body, which is where I'm super tight right now. Respecting your body's boundaries, listening to what your body is telling you. Just take a couple of gentle head, I don't say circles, we're going to go from shoulder to shoulder here. Loosening up through the shoulders, through the neck. We're going to plant our right hand, open our left hand to the sky, look up, and reach through, thread the needle. Cheek comes to the ground, arm stretches out. If you want an extra stretch through that side body, reach that right arm out. Sinking back into your hips, feeling that stretch all the way down your side body, across your sacrum. Breathing into any tension. One more breath in. On your exhale, come back to tabletop. This time planting your left hand, reach your right hand to the sky. This is the side that's really tight, so if I look tight, that's why I am. Inhale, exhale, thread the needle. Breathing into that side body. Feeling the stretch. Inhale. On your exhale, come back to tabletop. Sorry, just readjusting. And we're going to press ourselves into a downward facing dog. This is our first down dog, so go ahead and pedal out your dog. Maybe bend your knees. Do what you need to do to settle into this posture. Pressing the ground away from you. Your ears are between your biceps, tailbone to the sky. Breathe in. Put your feet hip distance apart, and we're just going to reach our left hand to our right ankle. Or you can stay put depending on how you feel in your body today. Get that hand back down and reach for the other ankle. Feeling that stretch all the way down that hamstring, through your low back, your glutes, your side. If you feel a tight area, send a breath there. Inhale, exhale, plant your hand back down. Breathe in, bend your knees. On your exhale, look forward, step forward. We're gonna hang in Ragdoll Pose. Opposite hand grabs, opposite elbows. You can take a deep bend in your knees, making sure, however deep your bend or shallow, your chest is resting on your thighs. Head is heavy. Maybe take a minute to shake your head no, nod your head yes. Loosen up any tension in your shoulders.
sway right to left, side to side, if that feels good to you. Inhale. Exhale through your nose. Inhale, reach up, rise up, high mountain pose. Bring your hands to heart center. Take a moment to set your intention for this practice, to honor where you are right now, knowing you're exactly where you're meant to be. Begin to settle into your Ujjayi breath, breathing in through your nose to a constricted throat like Darth Vader, and out through your nose. Keeping your eyes closed. Inhale, reach up, open your eyes, maybe look up. Exhale, swan dive down to the ground. Inhale, halfway lift. Hands press into your shin, your back is flat, shoulder blades come down your back, head is in neutral. Breathing in, inhale, exhale, fold. Inhale, plant your hands, step back for a high push-up. We're gonna hold this here for just a second. In our high push-up, our core is pulled up and in. Our shoulders are engaged. We're not collapsing, we're pressing the earth away, hollow through our armpits. Quads are engaged, hamstrings are engaged. This is an active posture. Our neck is relaxed and neutral. Breathe in. Exhale, bend your elbows to 90 degrees. Lower down. Inhale, upward facing dog. Shine your heart open, bend your elbows, shoulders come back. Exhale, downward facing dog. Really should have worn a different shirt. Inhale, exhale through your mouth. One more. And back to your Ujjayi breathing as your heart rate returns to normal. Inhale, look forward, jump, step, or hop to the front of your mat. Exhale. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, fold. Inhale, rise up, high mountain pose. Exhale, fold. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, jump, step, or hop back. Exhale, chaturanga. Inhale, upward facing dog. Exhale, downward facing dog. Breathe in. Exhale. We're going to do one more like that. One breath, one movement. Inhale to prepare. Exhale, look forward. Jump, step, or hop. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, fold. Inhale, rise up. High mountain pose. Exhale, fold. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, chaturanga. Inhale, upward facing dog. Exhale, downward facing dog. Breathe in. Sigh it out. We're gonna inhale. Look forward, jump, step, or hop. Rise up into chair pose. Tailbone is neutral, it's not flared out, it's not severely tucked. It's in a neutral posture. Knees come behind the toes. If your knees are over your toes, you're putting a lot of tension on those tendons in your knees. So, you know, if you can't be low and back, don't be low and forward. Just come up a little bit. It doesn't have to be a deep bend. Shoulders are down your back. To create that, if you have tight shoulders, cactus your arms. Your ribs are knit together, meaning we're not flared out. We're pulled up and in. Core is engaged, helping us with posture,
creating stability for us as we go through our day. Sink lower. Inhale. Exhale, fold. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, chaturanga. My mat's curled. Inhale, upward facing dog. Exhale, downward facing dog. Inhale your right foot to the sky. Step it forward. Spin your back foot to about 45 degrees and rise up for warrior one. Hips turn towards the front. Again, your knee is behind your toes. Knee is not collapsing in. It's out in line with your hip. Shoulders are down your back. Shoulders are over your hips. You're stacked. Inhale. This posture can be as deep or as wide and narrow as you want. So if that's too hard, widen your stance. Shorten your stance. This is a warrior one too. We don't have to be in the most extreme version, but we want that entire back leg engaged. We want our alignment accurate. That is more important. Inhale. We're going to exhale. Cartwheel your hands to the mat. Step back to a high push-up. Exhale, low push-up. Inhale, upward facing dog. Exhale, downward facing dog. Inhale your left foot to the sky, step it forward. Spin the back foot. Rise up for warrior one. Again, taking whatever variation or modification you need to create alignment. Yoga is not about getting into the most extreme expression of every posture, even if it's in your practice. It's about listening to your body, being in your body, and taking the signals and the things that your body's telling you and acting on those things. Mindfulness in motion. Inhale, exhale, cartwheel your arms to the mat, step back, high push-up. Take a breath in. Exhale, low push-up. Inhale, upward facing dog. Exhale, downward facing dog. This time we're going to speed up the beginning of that flow for our Sun B and add on. So inhale, exhale, look forward, jump, step, or hop, sink into chair pose. Good news, we're going to inhale, exhale, fold. Didn't have to stay in it this time. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, chaturanga. Inhale, upward facing dog. Exhale, downward facing dog. Inhale your right foot to the sky, step it forward, spin your back foot, rise up, warrior one. Inhale. Exhale, open up to warrior two. Hips come open. Knee stays out over that ankle. Back foot is parallel to the back of your mat. Shoulders are down. We're not up here, we're down. Gaze is just over that middle finger. Inhale, set your drishti. This is great work for the inner thighs, pulling up through that pelvic core, engaging your entire core. Inhale, reach forward. Exhale, reverse your warrior. Not collapsing into this side, but actively reaching up and over. Maybe your head turns to gaze at the sky. Inhale. Exhale, bring your elbow to that front knee. Again, active in this side, working our obliques. Arm comes up overhead, then reach over for extended side angle. You can stay here. You can always come down for extended side angle and put your foot on the ground. Hips are open
in this posture just like they are in Warrior Two. You can use your arm to press out on that knee. Inhale. Exhale, come back up to Warrior Two. Turn your feet towards, so your toes are slightly in, heels are slightly out. Inhale, we're gonna hinge at our hips for a wide-legged forward fold, and I'm gonna walk my hands out. I am doing some twisting, so I'm gonna reach my left hand to my right ankle. Gentle twisting is good because it loosens up those muscles on my side. Extreme twisting, my body doesn't want to do today, and I'm going to respect that, and I ask that you respect what your body wants to do. Your head is heavy. Breathe in. If this is too intense, take another arm variation. You can do a bind. You can just grab the same ankle with your hands. Walk your other hand back out. Let's switch sides, reaching the right hand for the left ankle. Breathe in and out. Remembering your Ujjayi breath in every posture. Reach your hands back out, hook them in, and hinge back up. We're gonna Skandasana, so low side lunge, as low as you would like to go. There's no rules here. You can bring both heels up. You can use your hands. In fact, I kind of like that today. Really stretching through those inner thighs, lengthening those muscles, strengthening those muscles. Inhale. We're gonna go one more time to the back, and this next time, we're gonna turn to the front for a low lunge. Walk your foot out to the side of your mat for a runner's lunge. Staying up on long arms in this case, we're gonna open that hip into lizard pose. Feeling the entire hip open, feeling a stretch through the inner thigh too. Back stays straight, gaze is forward. Our core is still engaged. Inhale. Exhale. Breathing through any tension. We're going to step that back leg forward for a Yogi Squat. Now, I don't bring my props outside usually just because, I don't know, it's bad enough that I have an outdoor yoga mat that's sort of destroyed. So this is a great posture to use a block in. I like to sit one right under my seat, but today I'm just gonna open up. We're pressing our hands together, pushing our elbows against those thighs to open up through our hips, trying to maintain a straight back. Your feet may or may not be flat on the ground. If you're up on your balls of your feet a little bit, that's totally fine, totally normal. If you need to sit on a block, also totally fine. This is a pretty intense hip opener. So we're gonna breathe into it. Let me hear your breath. Inhale. We're gonna plant our hands and toe heel our feet back together in a forward fold. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, fold. Inhale, rise up. High mountain pose. Really stretching up. Exhale, fold. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, chaturanga. This time I'm coming into a crouching child's pose, bending my knees and elbows to come into an upward facing dog, and bending my knees and elbows back to a downward facing dog. Inhale, exhale. Just gonna repeat that on the other side. So inhale your left foot to the sky. Step it forward. Reach up for warrior one. Inhale, on our exhale, open up to warrior two. Hips are open, shoulders are down, knee is out. Gaze is over that middle finger. Inhale. Inhale, reach forward. Exhale, reverse your warrior. Strong in that side. You can also take a half bind with your arm if that feels good to you. It's another way in this pose. Unbind if you're in it. Exhale, reach that elbow down to your thigh. Bring your arm up, then over. Gaze is up at the ceiling or straight ahead. Looking up at the ceiling is a little more of a balance challenge, or from the sky, which is kind of a cool view up through the tree. Inhale. Take another breath in. And exhale, back to warrior two. Turn your feet. This time we're going to do something a little bit different. We're going to take our toes out, heels in. Arms come up. Come into goddess pose. So our knees are wide, back is straight, arms are cactus. Raise one heel, then the other. Remembering to breathe as you go through this posture. Going to go one more time on each side. Breathe in. We're going to, on our exhale, kind of shoot up into a star pose. So feet come together. And I want you to just bend to one side and then the other. Come back to neutral and Skandasana. Again, taking it low and slow, using your hands if you'd like, bringing your hands up if you'd like. We're going to go one more time to the back. And this time as we turn to the front, we bring our left foot forward, drop down to a low lunge on that back right knee. Toe heeling that left foot out to the edge of your mat and opening it up for lizard pose. Feeling that stretch all the way through the inner thigh. Really opening that hip flexor. Getting a nice stretch. You know, sometimes if I'm in a little bit of a pose that's intense, I think it's good to settle into your breath. It's also good to make it a sensory experience and think about what else you notice in your environment. Step forward into a Yogi Squat. So as we're in this hip opener, I mean, I can hear somebody working on their house, cars going by, smell the leaves. I love the smell of autumn. But just notice what your senses are taking in other than the sensation in your body too. So it's good to be aware internally and externally. So if it gets a bit too much, just tune in to your surroundings. Time, and on your exhale, plant your hands, stand up, toe heel your feet back together. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, fold. Inhale, rise at High Mountain Pose. Exhale, fold. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, we're gonna come back into a chaturanga with that crouching child's pose.
Or traditional if you like that. This just works different muscles.
And press ourselves back to a downward facing dog. Just take a moment and notice if this downward facing dog feels different than the first one you took. If your heels come a little bit closer to the ground. If you feel like you can be a little more active. Inhale. Exhale, I want you to reach your right foot to the sky, step it forward for a crescent lunge. Whoops, lost my balance.
Active through that back leg. Sinking in. Maybe getting that knee parallel with the floor. Really active though. Shoulders are down your back. And keep cueing the same things because they want to creep up, I know. Inhale. We're going to exhale and bring ourselves into airplane pose so the hands come back. We plant that right foot firmly. Toes are down at the ground. Set your drishti just ahead of you. Now bring your hands to heart center. We're going to come up through a staff pose. If you need to touch down at any point, totally fine. I'm going to have you bring this foot into tree pose. Your foot can be either on your thigh, your calf, or resting on the floor. You're pressing in with your thigh as much as your foot is pressing into your thigh. So setting that tension, a push-pull. You can keep your hands at heart center, by the way, or you can grow your branches. If you want to challenge your balance even more, look up at the sky. Breathe in. The more you're in your breath, the more your gaze is steady, the better your balance. But if you fall out of it, that's okay, just come back into it. You're doing the same thing to your brain circuit as if you were in the posture. If you've grown your branches, bring your heart back, or your hands back to heart center. Inhale. We're gonna rotate through to a half moon pose. So is that my left hand? Yeah, no, my right hand is gonna come down to the ground. Left foot into the sky. Keep your hand here or open up. Breathe in, steady. On your exhale, drop that foot back and Skandasana. That's our balance challenge for today, so we just have to do the other side and you made it. Inhale. On our next time to the front, we're going to turn into a lunge. This time, we're going to, yeah, I can do it. We're going to reach for our foot, setting into a twist. I'm not going to hold this as long as I might usually because it is a little intense for me, but we're kicking into that back hand, pulling on our foot, opening the shoulder. We're going to turn our hips to center and pull in, giving a nice quad stretch. Release your foot, step back to high push-up. Exhale, low push-up. Inhale, upward facing dog. Exhale, downward facing dog. Take a deep breath in through your nose. Sigh it out. One more. Inhale your right foot to the sky. Step it forward. Crescent lunge. Rise up. Active.
active through that back foot. Engage through the glute. Pulling your legs together, pulling your pelvic floor up, engaging your core. Ribs are pulled in. Inhale. On our exhale, launch in to airplane pose. You may have better balance on one side than the other, which is totally normal. We're just working towards strength on both sides. Hands come to heart center as we pull ourselves into staff pose and come into tree pose. Whatever variation works for you. Oops, I'm on a hill. And this is also maybe my less balanced side. But knowing that whatever variation you took on side one might be different than what you need to do on side two. So for example, I don't think I'm gonna look up this time. This is my edge. So we find our edge and we don't need to push ourselves past it. Inhale, exhale. Hands come to heart center as we come into half moon pose. Left hand is on the ground. Right arm can come up or stay on your hip. Inhale. Root into the four corners of that standing foot. If you fall out, come back to it. Inhale on your exhale. Skandasana. Lunge. Hand is inside my foot. I'm going to reach back, kicking in to my hand as much as I'm pulling, opening through my shoulder, feeling that stretch through my hip flexor. I'm going to turn my hips forward, pull that leg in, and move the stretch to my quad. Your hands, step back to high push-up, exhale, low push-up, inhale, upward facing dog, exhale, downward facing dog. I'm going to have you take a deep breath in, sigh it out, inhale, on your exhale, drop to your knees, come to puppy pose, knees stay under your hips, arms stretch out in front of you. You can put your shoulder or your forehead on the mat, your chin, your chest. You can use blocks. Do whatever feels good to your body. Your hips stay back over your knees, so we're not like pressing into a child's pose. It's an active, hips are stacked. This is a great shoulder opener, but it's also can feel very intense. So if it's a little too intense, get some blocks to rest your forehead on. Move the floor closer. Inhale. On your exhale, come into Sphinx pose. So we're flat on our bellies. Elbows are underneath our shoulders. Hands are in front of us. We're going to pull. So pressing into our mat. Imagine you're pulling the edge of the mat towards you. Your core engages. Your gaze comes up. Your shoulders pull back, opening that chest. exhale, come down. So we're gonna do shoulder pigeon, so a little bit of shoulder opening today. One hand comes under, the other hand comes over, and we rest down. Feeling a nice opening through both shoulders. Relaxing into this posture. Breathing into our shoulders. Sending that breath there. Letting the breath work away any tension. Inhale. On our exhale, we're going to gently unwind our hands. Right hand comes out to the side. Roll up. Sorry, that's my left hand again. I'm having a hard time today. Roll up onto that left side, opening through the shoulder. This time we're going to switch sides. So I had my left arm over, this time it goes under. Right arm comes over. But whatever side you did is fine. You can just switch sides. You can, some people can actually work their forehead to the mat in this pose. My shoulders are quite a bit tighter than that. So you can rest on your cheek. Whatever feels good to you, just let that shoulder open. Breathing into it, relaxing. And on our exhale, gently unwind. Hands come out, roll up onto that right side. Taking some leaves with me. When you're ready, come back down. We are going to come into a Cobra Pose or an upward facing dog, whichever feels good to you. So hands come by our ribs, gaze is forward. You can either just come up here or press yourself up to an upward facing dog. Shine your chest open. Inhale. And we're going to press ourselves forward. Now, we're going to bring our right foot to the sky, inhale it up, bend our knee, then open our hip. We're going to take some hip circles here in both directions. And back. Just big hip circles. And then we're going to drop open to wild thing. Reaching forward with that arm. Maybe taking some big arm circles. And back. Switch. Plant that right hand. Step the right foot to the left hand. Open up for side plank splits. Moving through those hips. Changing up the sequence a little bit today. We should be warmer. We're going to plant this hand. We're going to come into a side plank figure 4. Now, you can take variations. You can stay in this figure 4. You can drop your hip and raise it. You can come into Vinyasa. You can starfish that. You can tree it. Whatever
all in side plank figure 4. So I'm going to go to that. And we're just going to press our hands forward, step back for a high push-up, press ourselves into a downward facing dog. Take a deep breath in, sigh it out. One more. Inhale your left foot to the sky, bend your knee, then open up your hip and take some big leg circles, loosening up again through that hip, maybe 3 in either direction. Open that hip, drop your foot, wild thing, reaching forward, taking some big arm circles, 3 in either direction. Really beautiful day here today. We're going to plant our hand, step into a side plank split, moving through our hips. Plant that hand, come into side plank figure 4, taking whatever variation you like. Might be different than what you did on the other side. Most of us have one side that's stronger than the other. Totally normal. Meet back in side plank figure 4. Step back into high push-up. Inhale. Exhale to a down dog. Breathe in. Make this your best down dog. It's your last. We're going to find ourselves in a comfortable seated position, however you get there. If you'd like to just sit down, just sit down. Okay. So, our feet come out in front of us. We're going to lie down on our back. We're going to do a little bit of core work. I'm going to be doing some oblique work because my ground is uneven. But inhale, your feet are going to come up to the sky. Inhale, engage those lower abs. Pull your core in. If you are really working on those low abs, I mean, a lot of us, if we've had kids, man, does that wreck that low ab area. So just stay here. If you're ready for what's next, lower your legs about 30 degrees. Hold. Inhale. Exhale, lower them another third. Inhale. Exhale, lower them another third. This should not be in your low back. If it is, modify. Inhale. Exhale, bring them up 30 degrees. Inhale. Exhale, bring them up 30 degrees. Inhale. Exhale, back to the sky. We're going to bring our knees into tabletop position. You can stay laying down. You can cradle your hands in, or your head in your hands. If you do this, your neck is relaxed. You curl into a C curve. So chin is tucked, tailbone is tucked. So we're making like a little bowl. Neck is relaxed. Inhale. Exhale, knee to elbow. So we inhale, pull together. Exhale, knee to elbow. That's 2. 3. Exhale. 4. Exhale. 5. 6. 7. 8, 9, and 10. And we're going to stretch our legs out, stretch our arms out. Oh, just stretch. Inhale.
Bring your legs back up to the sky. We're gonna scissor kick. So we'll pull in for 2, then switch. You can stay here, or you can come back into that C curve. So switch. I think that's 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and relax. Oh, back. All right. We're gonna set up for bridge or wheel. If wheel is in your practice, go for it. Today, it's not gonna be in my practice. It's just a little bit too much on the back side of my body right now. So, if you wanna come into bridge with me, we're gonna bring our heels close to our tailbone so that our hands are really grazing our heels. Inhale, and our exhale, we're gonna tilt our pelvis, engage our glutes, and push up. You can walk your hands in to get a little bit more of an inversion. If you're in wheel, your hands are planted beside your ears, fingertips pointing towards your shoulders. You're going to come to the crown of your head, then push yourself the rest of the way up. You're going to stay for 5 cycles of breath in whichever variation you choose. You do have supported bridge available to you always as well. Inhale. We're going to exhale. Tuck our tailbone and come down. If you were in wheel especially, you're going to want to windshield wiper your legs. We're going to come into one more. Bridge or wheel. If you did bridge before, you can switch. Another, whatever you want. Inhale. Exhale, push up. Walk your hands under. Stay here for 5 cycles of your own breath. And then tuck your chin and come down if you're in wheel. We're going to come into Souptabatakanasana, feet together, knees wide. One hand comes to your chest. One hand comes to your belly. What I want you to notice in this posture, particularly if you're in wheel, it raises your heart rate quite a bit. You can slow your heart rate by slowing your breath. By focusing on breathing out slowly, so focusing on the exhale will lower your heart rate. I have to sneeze, I'm sorry. Inhale, exhale. We're going to come into either waterfall pose, legs up a wall, or shoulder stand. So for waterfall pose, you can have a block under your hips, or you can just have your feet to the sky. If you'd like to come into shoulder stand, you're gonna engage your low abs and press your hips over your shoulders. Not looking to the right or the left. Really press those hips forward, toes are pointed, hands support the low back. Inhale. On your exhale, you'll slowly lower your feet to plow pose. You can always bring your feet to a block. Press into the balls of your feet. Stretching all the way down the hamstrings and the glutes. Bring your knees to your ears for deaf man's pose. Slowly roll down vertebrae by vertebrae. All the way down, tucking and lowering slowly until you're all the way down. grabbing the outer edges of your feet or behind your knees or your ankles. Pressing your tailbone into the ground. If your tailbone is coming up, modify the posture to grab lower, either your ankles or behind your knees. Maybe sway side to side. Bring your feet back into tabletop. Arms come out. We're going to drop our knees to one side or the other. Gaze comes over the opposite shoulder. Begin to settle your body back down. One more breath in. Knees come back to heart center if you need, or to center if you need to reset your hips, do so. Drop them to the other side. Gaze comes over the opposite shoulder. If there are any final postures you would like to take, please do so at this time. I'm going to set up for our final resting pose. Hands and legs splay out. Maybe tense up body part by body part so that you can relax. Check in with your jaw. Relax your eyeballs. Take one final breath in and surrender it all. Thank your body for coming to class today. Slowly bring some movement back to your fingers and toes. Take a deep breath in. Sigh it out. Keeping your eyes closed. Roll yourself to one side or the other using your arm as a pillow. When you're ready, push yourself to a comfortable seated position, keeping your eyes closed. Bring your hands to heart center. Thumbs come to third eye. The light in me sees and acknowledges the light in you. Namaste. Thank you for joining me today. I hope you enjoyed this practice. If you did, like, share it with your friends.
friends, leave me a comment, and let me know what kind of practices you'd like to see in the future. Love you all. Have a great day. Bye.